As you can see, we're balancing a very delicate act here. We're talking about layers, and we're also in the process of creating this drawing and trying to finalize it. So I'm going to focus now on placing the other chairs in, and we're going to review the mirror command now, and we're also going to talk about the polar tracking drawing aid. So first of all, let me clean up a couple of things here. I want to move the lines I've created over just a bit. They're going to serve a purpose later, and when they do that and they're no longer needed, we're going to erase that. Next, I'm going to use the pan real time and pan this to the center of my screen. Right click, select zoom, and move in a little bit closer, like so. Right click and exit. If we look at the sketch, there are a few more chairs, but looking at it closely, we've created one chair. We can simply mirror that chair over to the exact opposite side. And then to place the other chairs, I'm going to use polar and mirror this chair to this adjacent side. I'm going to take advantage of my object snaps, and I'm also going to change the polar tracking. First, I'm going to turn it on. Second, I'm going to right click, go to settings, and I'm going to make sure that the increment angle is set to 45 degrees. Select OK. I'm going to select the objects that I'd like to mirror, and I'm going to window them. Now I've accidentally selected this extra line here. I didn't want to do that. So, knowing now what we can do with layers, let me tap the escape key and go to the drop-down list. Select the lock icon for the layer table. I can still see it, but I cannot edit any of the entities on that layer. Trying this again, mirror. This time I'm going to create this implied window a little bit bigger and click. You'll notice that it indicates that 7 objects were found. 3 of them were on a locked layer, which means that only 4 were actually selected, and that's what we have here. Right click, specify the first point of the mirror line. This will work if you have midpoint set and if you have turned on polar tracking and it is set to a 45-degree angle. I'm going to select the midpoint of this arc, picking one time, and now as I move the cursor, it's going to snap every 45 degrees. And this is where I'm going to pick my next point, either at 225 or at 45. So I can either pick up here or I can pick down here. And notice how I am staying away from any entities because I do not want my second point of the mirror line to snap to any one of these. If necessary, I can turn off object snap and I know that it's not going to pick any of those points. Okay, now I'm going to click. Delete source object, yes or no. This is the source object up at the top, and I do not want to delete it, so I'm simply going to enter because n is already the default value. And just like that, we have mirrored that chair to the other side. I'm going to zoom out one time and see if I can't pan up a little bit. There we go. right click and exit there. And the next thing I want to do is mirror again this top chair. I don't have O-snap on, so I'm going to turn that back on now and select this midpoint. And I don't need to turn ortho on because polar is already doing its job. I'm going to pick here, delete the source object. That reply is N for no. I'm going to right click my mouse and enter. And then complete the rest of the chairs. Select mirror. This will be the midpoint of that mirror line, and this will be the second. And finally, mirror. Being very careful to select this implied window. Right click, first point of mirror line, and then I could pick this midpoint because it's exactly across. And finally, unlocking that layer. And just like that, the drawing is complete. Again, give yourself a pat on the back.